Cell phone use in school by Ashley Langle-Gann. A quick overview of my presentation. Cell phone use in school continues to be a controversial issue. Should we allow it? Can we really ban them? Are they disruptive? Could we use them as tools? Parents, students, administrators, teachers, and community members all have different opinions. Through this presentation, I will address the pros and cons of cell phone use in schools and suggest some guidelines to follow when addressing the issue. Pros of cell phone use in school: communication between parents and students at all times. Medical emergencies, like if a student gets hurt, they can contact their parent immediately, or if there's a family emergency, the parent can contact the student without having to go through the office procedure. They could be used as learning tools, incorporating technology into the classroom. It can also be used as a type of relating to our students. They like them, they're used to them, they know how to use them, so we could use them to relate. Cons of cell phone use: they are disruptive when they ring, or a text message goes off, or an alarm, or if the student just isn't paying attention because they are on their cell phone. They've been used for cheating, like text messaging answers or taking pictures and sending them. They've been known to affect the safety of the students at the school, like if the school is in an emergency and everybody's on their cell phone, this can cause a system overload. Also, students have been known to call in bomb threats using cell phones at school, and they can't be traced. The cameras on cell phones have been used taking pictures in locker rooms of each other, and this could be classified as harassment. Bullying and rumors, such as sending threatening text messages or to each other, or just starting a rumor and sending that out. So what does the school law say? Prohibit use if it contains material or substantial disruption to the education process. Prohibit any practice which affects proper order. Provide evidence. This means if you do have to prohibit use because it's a disruption or it's affecting proper order, we need to provide that evidence for our parents or the student. That way we avoid big, long issues. Special exceptions for medical emergencies or chronic illnesses should be made, like if a student has an illness or is sick or something like that, they need to be able to have their phone in case they need to contact somebody. Also, a school policy regarding the cell phone use and when they can be used and things like that needs to be in place at all times. So if the cell phones are permitted, a policy should be in place governing when the devices may be used. The policy should be created with individual student needs considered. That goes back to if there's a chronic illness or something like that, that student needs to be able to have access to a phone. Policy should be driven by fairness, as always, and if the policy is broken, appropriate action should be taken immediately. If not permitted, exceptions should be made for certain circumstances. Like I said earlier, if the student needs to have a cell phone on hand, exceptions should be made. And then evidence should be provided as to why for parents and students. There's going to be questions arising, there's going to be parents complaining, there's going to be students complaining to their parents. So if we just go ahead and have the evidence provided as to why we are not permitting cell phones at school, that will cut back on the amount of problems we'll run into. So now what? Can we really get away from it? Will it be an ongoing battle with parents? Outside of instruction only, which this means should we only allow cell phones in the morning and after school and at recess or lunchtime? And then can we utilize them in the classroom? These are all things to think about whenever we're thinking about making our policy. I did some research and talked to some people to see if they are using cell phones in their classroom and how they're utilizing them. Here's my results. Calendars. You can use these teaching days of the week. If you have a big assignment, such as a big project or science fair or something like that, you can add your assignments into the calendar. Stopwatches, like if you're doing your math facts or something like that, partners can time each other using the stopwatch. Maps, most cell phones come with a GPS these days, and the students can enter addresses and things like that and look at the maps. Photograph results, like if you're doing a science project or something, you can take pictures of the results. Take videos of each other. The students could video they're doing a poem or something like that. Educational applications or games, these come on iPads and iPhones for sure, and a lot of other phones too. They could partner up and participate in these games like in their free time or something. And then definitions, they could always Google, if word that comes up that we don't know, let's Google it and let's find out on our cell phones. Most of the cell phones come with internet now. A quick wrap up of what I found. Whatever the school decides should be well thought out, and policies should be enforced. We should have student needs at the center of focus in this case, as with all others. We can use these to relate to our students and use tools as long as we have control of the classroom. And as always, all staff needs to be on the same page. So one teacher doesn't need to be allowing it, and the student, that will just cause problems. The students, somehow it will leak. Students will be telling each other, oh, Mrs. So-and-so lets us use them, and it'll just end up being a problem with parents and everything else in the long run. So everybody needs to be on the same team and really enforce the policy.